Yes.
Diane Schultz,
Yes.
Anthony Campbell,
Here.
Barbara Thomas, Trevor Warner, Mary Wiles. Here.
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Does anybody want to say our invitation?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second it.
Diane Schultz,
Yes.
Anthony Campbell,
Yes.
Mike Noel,
Yes.
Trevor Warner,
Yes.
Mary Wiles. Yes. We have 5 to 0, so you have a quorum.
You guys need more time to look at the minutes and make any changes?
I read mine already.
I've made some changes. Which ones are we approved? Is that regarding approved 17?
17 doesn't need to be approved. 15 doesn't need to be approved.
Yeah,
Sorry,
15 already.
I know.
It says
Are
it.
you done?
What's that?
Are you done?
Yeah, I've read through them all.
Okay. On 15, whenever we, on the bottom of the page, the first page, the motion carried 3-2. It was, mine was a no vote. You couldn't vote because it was for mayor pro, or for the mayor pro tem position. So I think that should be tallied as 3, 1, and 1 abstain.
Those have already been approved.
We approved those before.
There's been changes made to them.
I thought you said the only things we couldn't change were on 17.
No, I messed up, sorry. That was, I
15
said,
is the one we can't.
15 is one we approved.
Well, I thought that would be for the record that that should be 3, 1, 1.
I'll make a motion.
I will say though, and just so you know, Diane, I would want to verify, but I'm pretty sure in that particular circumstance, I could vote for myself.
But you didn't.
Yeah, no, and you are correct.
That's the correction I wanted to make.
Okay.
Okay. On the 17th, mine has to do with closed session, which I can't reveal this time, I don't believe.
So we need to approve the 19th. The 17th has already been approved also. It says so in the minutes from the 19th.
Tonight's minutes, yeah.
But they were supposed to be approved with changes. The changes.
International.
But I had initially said during the meeting of the 19th that the 17th was a new complete summarization.
Okay.
That's on, that should be on the record.
You recruited yourself for the 17th, it says.
No, last week, the 17th, I wasn't here the 15th, because the 15th was, I had to recuse myself because I wasn't here for the closed session, because I had to leave for medical reasons. And I had stated that at the beginning of the session with the council, that the reason why I left early was because of medical reasons.
So the 19th needs to be corrected then,
Yeah.
because that's what it says, that Diane excused herself on the 17th, so
Okay.
we need to change those.
Well, only from the closed session.
Yeah, but that's what, so it needs corrections.
No, oh no, wait, I'm sorry, it's the 15th that I wasn't here, that I had to leave early. That was closed session, so I had to recuse myself from that. The 17th I was here, because that's the one I had the discrepancy with the summarization not being complete.
Was Barb here the 17th?
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe they had your guys' names mixed up.
No, Barbara was there.
Because if you read that last sentence,
Okay, so.
I mean, this is
they-
something that we can take care of.
One person at a
after.
time. So, but real quick, give me what exactly you're wanting done and what days.
Can I talk about the closed session
No.
on the 17th? Okay, well then I have to handle this after the fact.
Okay, so let's table the 17th.
Can we discuss it in the closed session we have tonight?
It's personnel, I don't,
I don't know.
No, I think this
I
is,
think that'd be reaching, in my opinion, so I'd say no.
that's what I was saying.
So can you write on the closed session, like make a note?
Yeah,
and
that
go
was
back?
my-
I gave Lou the information that night after, and told her that I would like to have this included into the summarization because it was part of the meeting.
Or remember, it's just that, Diane, I just want you to fully understand, so this week we did call in Mel, you can confirm it's just a summarization of all they require from us, correct?
That's all I'm asking for is a summarization, but it's an incomplete summarization is what I'm saying.
Well, in the last meeting, you were wanting verbatim,
These
so
two-
that's why I
these
said,
two-
I just want to make
Or
sure.
down like a recording or whatever.
Yeah, one person at a time. Hey, I just want to make sure
No, I
you fully
understand what I'm
understand, it's just summarized according to Mel.
Yes, and I am perfectly aware of that,
Okay,
okay? But what I'm saying is incomplete summarization is what I was getting at,
okay.
all right?
Yeah, these two have already been approved.
I believe they were too.
There's no difference between the amendment.
I'll go back and
With-
check.
With
Robert, have
corrections.
you been sending your videos over?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll go back and I'll double check the video too, just to make sure that,
That's
I
all.
can find my,
Because I had
if I
addressed
can
this
get
in open session.
one second, yes, Robert.
the minutes for June 17th were tabled on the 19th with a vote of 6-0.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought too, so we need a minute that.
So in essence, it's still an open issue?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
so we'll try to make some of your changes.
Okay.
But that's the 17th.
Yes,
Okay.
the 19th are the ones we need to get past today, so does anybody have anything that needs to change on the 19th? Yes.
So if you're gonna, that's where we need to change that, is on that.
Yes.
That's
So verbiage?
Yeah,
Yes.
we didn't approve the 17th table for changes.
We follow the
Okay. And that is,
That's under approval and it's under the 19th.
okay.
It should have been tabled.
Okay. Table. Okay.
And I think Diane recused herself from the
Because of the
closed session the
discrepancy.
15th, not the 17th.
Okay.
And I don't know why Barbara, I don't remember her recusing herself from the 15th. She was here, so I don't remember her saying. Maybe she did, I just don't remember.
No, that was me, she was here, everybody was here, I
I think
liked it.
there's a miscommunication.
Okay. We'll go back. and-
We'll double check.
It's a type of everywhere,
Yeah.
everybody's-
We'll double check the video, if that's fine with you. We'll make any changes we need to.
Can we go ahead though and approve the 19th with the corrections?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve June the 19th minutes with the corrections from Trevor and Diane.
For the 17th, right?
19th, Diane.
No, the 19th is what we're.
We're approving the 19th right now.
17th is the correction, is going
No,
to
there's
be.
changes has to be made.
On the
Yeah,
19th.
we gotta make changes to this one.
I'll second.
No, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Diane Schultz.
I say yes with the, option to add to the corrections to the June 17th meeting for closed session.
Oh, we're voting on the 19th, is the 19th right now.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's the 19th for the session and the minutes for the 17th.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Anthony Campbell.
Yes, with corrections.
Okay. Mike Hall.
Yes, with all the corrections.
Okay. Trevor Warren.
Yes.
Mary Wall.
Yes.
I have a good meeting to get through now.
Yeah.
Do what, Diane?
That was a head meeting to get through
So,
now.
motion is carried with 5-0.
The next business is Dale Lane. We talked briefly about this on the 15th, I believe.
Yeah. a little bit.
So there's a piece of property that the city, from my understanding, co-owns with a resident of our town. To to the best of my knowledge, somebody could correct me here, but I don't think the city's ever taken care of it as long as I know. One second. So, the residents taking care of it, as far as I remember, and taking it. I don't know at this point if we have any interest in it. I'm personally all in favor of us, however we want to do this, turn the property, sell the property to that resident. What I would want out of that is we would have to determine how much. I would want if we ever wanted the option of the alleyway in the back where we could, connect, because I know we've talked about. And any other exceptions we would want in there, I'm sure we can add, but at that point, I don't know what benefit it brings to the city of Dixon. That's my 2 cents on it, but I'm very open and willing to hear anybody that has any input on it. Yes, Diane?
I would like to speak on the fact that I was sitting on the council on 2014 when all this transpired, and I had gone through several councils after that in reference to the subjects that is involved here. Can I give the details of what I know?
As long as they are relevant.
They're relevant to Dale Lane.
Yes.
Okay. Dale Lane, under Jeff Clark, who was the mayor at the time in 2014, had obtained what was supposed to be 50% of the property for a $1 deed from one of the owners of the property. Okay. And then later on in the ordeal, the resident in question was told that he had 1 year to obtain a quick deed, or we were going to go ahead and cut down the trees and open Dale Lane. Okay? And I have no clue whether he met that statute or not, but that was the stipulation that was laid out in 2014. Okay? And then whenever we were doing the streets and stuff, John Doyle had made a proposition to the effect of the privacy issue with the resident in hand, that they would take Sunset and take it all the way over to the adjacent property owner's line, which would be Davis, and run it out that way. That way we could open up Sunset all the way through for emergency vehicles and other vehicles, and the community would like to have that access done. That's the way it was set up then.
Okay. So I talked to our former city engineer on this, I think when I first came into office, this was
You're
brought
talking about
to
John Doyle?
Yes.
Okay, because he's the one that proposed it.
Yes, there's 2 different options, and that's, I was told what's your option.
Mhm.
The other option was to, and I gotta be honest, just my thought here, but I think it's a much more efficient option, is to run it straight out and connect it to High Street if we were ever going to. And there's a lot of what-ifs in there.
Connected to what?
Is it High Street?
High Street.
What's Oak
The
Lane?
2
Oh,
dead
right.
streets.
Yeah, okay, sorry guys.
Yeah.
So you got
That's it.
Doyle.
Oh, you're talking
Well,
about
I-
around
Yeah.
Quentin Davis's property? Is that what we're talking
It would
about?
cut
Because
right.
that was an option too.
Yeah, it would cut up and you would make a right there. So there you would have no dead end road. You would not have another road that would come out on Country Club right there. That would be my ideal situation. That would be the most cost effective for us as a city, and that's what I would ask for an easement on. We would either need probably a 20-25 easement, 20-25 foot easement on there just for roads or anything else we'd ever want. Cost-wise, it's going to be much more efficient that way because we're talking half the distance. It'll be a reward to the road. So, but at the same token, as the city's been talking about this now for almost 7 years,
6
we,
years, exactly.
yeah, but we as a city have never acted, taken care of the property.
Well, because there was all kinds of controversy about airship and ownership and all this other stuff. That's what.
I totally understand, but at the same token, I don't know unless somebody can bring it to my attention what benefit it brings us, other than as long as we have our easement, in case we ever want to make it a dead end road, make sure it's not a dead end road. I don't know what benefit that property brings us.
It doesn't, but that's the whole point, okay? Because the point is the community would like to have Sunset open for, I mean, let's put it in this scenario. The people that live at the end of Sunset right now, when you have an emergency, you have first responders that show up from police, to the ambulance, to the fire department, and whoever else may be involved at that time. Well, if you look at Sunset at that very end, if it's a property at the very end, how's the fire department going to access that if you've got other emergency vehicles there? And it just causes a problem. So it'd be easier just to open the lane and make it accessible for emergency purposes, plus it makes it easier for the school district to.
Remember, let's please take our turn as we discuss this. I'm all for us having a discussion for, but at the same time, I want us to be polite and courteous. So your proposal is to use the old road. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. The resident wants their privacy. I understand that, okay? That to me is a given. But what I was going on is what John Doyle had proposed 6 years ago, that we bring that lane. I know it's a little bit more costly, but it would resolve the problem, okay? And it would give the person who's buying the property more access to more of the land as opposed to our easement being, I mean, you can just bring it right down the side and bring it right out to Country Club. Because I don't see where you're benefiting from. I mean, where are you going to bring it out on Oak?
Well, you're not talking about where Dale Lane sits, right?
No.
It was like over the side.
We resolve that, we just totally abolish that easement, and we go for the other easement, okay, when we sell the
On the other
property, that easement would come with the sale. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be where Dale Lane exists.
No,
It would be like on the other side of the property,
No,
right?
I was just talking about.
Okay, that's where we're
resident
getting
wants their
into.
privacy, because it's so close to their property.
1% at a time.
We could resolve that, okay? And my point would be, and it's just a suggestion, to come straight out Sunset, come back, come around the building, and come as close to the property line as we can, and bring it out on Country Club. That would be the
That's
easiest
the
way
one I
to do that.
That's the one I heard.
John Doyle.
That's the one that John Doyle had proposed.
Yeah.
And also the one.
There was
that
two
Oak-
options, that come out on Country Club, or to make the right, if you're facing the house, to make the right connected to the street right there. So there's two ways to it. I'm sure, to be honest with you, we can talk to the co-property owner, however we should word this, and get easement either way. But at the same token, at this point, I don't know what I'm asking here is what the property benefits the city if we have the easement in place. So if the property owner is willing to give us the easement, willing to pay us, do all the title search and all the fees for the property, and any fees associated with that, I don't know what purpose it serves. Not yet, Trevor's best.
So, yeah, I was just talking, basically looking at it now, and I mean, I guess we could throw in the easement for that, but I don't know how to really do that. Ways that High Street would hit High Street first.
Yes, much
I
closer.
and Doyle, and I think it needs to be all the way
And then
on
all the
water.
way go to Watt.
On water.
That would be the most logical way. Again, you could hit, Oakland would no longer be a dead end, High Street no longer be a dead end, and Doyle.
And that's my idea. So you're killing how many?
So are we talking about the Bible residence for an easement to run that out to Y
Well,
Highway?
there's a
Actually,
piece
Walter
of property,
Nicholas's,
yeah.
yeah.
There's a piece of property.
And then
It's already
there's the
been-
Evans property as well, you'd have to get an easement from the
No.
Davis, Evans, and.
No, Davis is out of the picture.
It's far
Davis is
beside.
not even gonna hit. I believe Evans
Oh, yeah, you're right.
would be
you're
potential.
right.
There's a piece of property, it is Sunset, 1% of time. Walter Dickens right there, he used to own property, I don't know if it's switched hands or what, but that would be a
It's still
potential piece
an
too. So, but again, we're talking hypothetical, guys. I really want us to get down to the brass tacks of it is, are we ready just to say, hey, if we have our easements in place that protect us as a city, if we ever want to put either route in, what does it service at this point? We don't mow it, we don't maintain it. I have to be honest with you. I think it's just, let's get this over. It should have been done that over with years ago, in my opinion. That's just.
I agree, that's been the whole stickler as to, I mean, because we go through so many councils with so many options and nothing really gets resolved.
So let's resolve it today. Yes, Mr. Reeves.
I believe that person would probably tear that old house down and have that all hauled off too, and clean up the, from what I understand.
And we can make this part of it. Remember, this is part of ours, part of the, resident too, so let's make this fast, appropriate, and make sure it covers all of our bases.
Exactly.
Couple things.
Okay,
Dale, you're talking about two different pieces of property. Dale Lane was originally platted as part of Hillcrest subdivision in 1960. So it's been there all along. The city has numerous streets that were platted as part of subdivision that has never been opened up. So the city does own Dale Lane.
so, hold on, let me just remind you here though, the Dale Lane, and I don't know exactly the purpose of what you just said, but I'll try to respond. But where Dale Lane initially was and where the city had it plotted, and this is something I literally researched and pulled up all the surveys on it, talked to John Doyle on it, where Dale Lane was before there was a conflict. Robert, I don't need that.
This is copy of the plat.
Okay. But it should have been over, if I'm facing Dale Lane, it should have been over to the left, where I believe should have been about 8 feet. And that would put it in the middle of all those oak, I think they're oak trees, I'm not a tree.
And that was part of the conversation.
And that was part of the controversy, so that's why it was closed down. I will tend to believe that, as pretty much every one of those plots have been off dramatically. It's notorious, I think we would all agree at this point that they're all off 5, 10, 15, 20 feet. So that was unfortunately something that happened. I don't know who did the survey back then, but it's happened. Yes, Diane.
The way it got messed up is when they did the street bond. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think that Dale Lane was initially supposed to be one, there was supposed to be one with the street bond to be taken care of as an after the fact type thing, but it never got resolved because there was just all this unsettled issues and stuff, and like I said, you know, it's just been a scab on our backs for a long time. And I'm inclined to agree with you that the city should just go ahead and get rid of it. It's a monkey on our back, we don't need it.
I see no purpose that it serves for us.
It doesn't serve a purpose.
As long as we have, and we're protected, and we have our easements in place, the individual willing to pay something for it, do the title searches, I think it's a win-win for us as a city. Let's get it off of that.
Well,
And as a real estate matter, would we have to vote on this in closed session, or can we do this in open session?
I think real estate has to be closed.
Yeah, real estate.
I mean, we talk about it out here, but I think the final thing
I
is.
can call him now, probably.
well, when it comes to money, it has to be a real estate closed session.
I believe you're correct. So real estate
Yeah,
closed
buying
session.
or selling.
As long as we're on the same page, and the next meeting, I will make sure that's on there. We'll have real estate closed session. We'll have where we can come back out and then vote on it or announce our, how we're going to do it. We probably need to have Jeff here too, that's on us, Jeff, in particular, just so you can direct us the right way. I don't want us to do something that's inappropriate. So with that said, I think we're all on the same page. Do we have any questions? Do we have any concerns? I would like this to be a smooth vote next.
Easy. I just want to get rid of it.
Okay.
Like I said, it's been a scab on our
I think it's a
backside.
win-win for us at this point, so, yes, Robert.
On that property, you're talking about going, extending Sunset straight across to High Street like that?
Robert, I gotta be honest with you, I think it's a lot of hypothetical at this point.
Hypothetical,
Okay, let me speak, now let you speak.
if you're talking easements, that block 3 of the Oak subdivision on the east side of,
Robert, I'll warn you one more time, that when let me speak first and then I'll
Okay.
definitely give you your turn. But I think we're talking about a bunch of hypothetical, we've got a lot to accomplish first before we're even ready at that point in our infrastructure. Let's take care of what we currently have before we even try to add on more. We have a problem currently even maintaining our old infrastructure, so to add something more, I gotta be honest, I think we're talking 10 years down the road. As long as we're covered on both ends of it and both avenues, I can pull up from, I'm sure I can go with John Doyle if I don't still have, I think I still have in my possession, both bids, quotes, however you put it, to go out both directions. We'll have that covered
jail says we have to legally do it. I gotta be honest, that's beyond
So a motion to table.
motion to table, yeah, we'll need a motion to table for the next meeting, unless we do any more questions. Anybody from the audience want to speak? Okay,
I made a motion to table Dale Lane.
I'll second it.
Diane Schultz,
Yes.
Anthony Quinn,
Yes.
Barbara Thomas, Mike Noel,
yes.
Trevor Warren,
Yes.
Mary Wallace.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carried, it's 5-0.
At this moment, I would ask for us to give 10-minute recess. If we make a motion to the 10-minute recess, then we'll switch over to closed session. If you guys would like us to, we can invite you back in when we're done. It's totally up to you. I'll give you guys 10 minutes or so, once we vote on it, okay, get out of here.
Mr. Mayor, do you anticipate any motions following closed session?
Do what, sir?
Do you anticipate any motions following closed session?
No.
In that case, no need for me to say.
All right, thank you, sir.
Now I'll make a motion to take a recess, a 10-minute recess.
I'll second.